Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome to day 4. Day 4 in the financial clinic. Money talks for women. Financial clinic. Day 4 of creating your future financial freedom. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you? How are you? How are you? How's your week been? How is it going? This is day 4. Can you believe it? I cannot believe it. It's gone so fast. I'm just so happy that you're here. Welcome back. Welcome back to day 4. Those of you who are here live, I just want to say thumbs up to you. You are the team. You're the big team. And those of you who are listening to the replay, I want to say hello, special hello to you. And let's put our names in the chat. Let me know where you're coming from. Hi, Lynn, no sound. No sound. Is that true? Anybody else not hearing me? Let's just make sure. I hear you. Patricia Barnett hears us and hearing you well. Alyssa, if you're having trouble, maybe go out and come back in again, and that might help you. Still no sound. Alyssa, it might be on your end. So sounds okay. Sounds okay. Sound check, sound check. This is what we have to do because you never know about technology these days. So thank you, Alyssa, for the heads up, and just to make sure everyone else is hearing me okay. Make sure that your volume is up, Alyssa. And yes, we are, at least the chat is working. That's one good thing. And tonight is a special night, everyone. Tonight is day 4 of a 5-day venture into our financial freedom. This is where we begin, because your financial freedom is a journey. But every journey has to begin somewhere, doesn't it? Every journey has to begin somewhere. And you chose to be here. So that means that this is the beginning of your journey to your financial freedom. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. So, how many of you were with me last night? Raise your hands if you were. Put a big thumbs up in the chat, please. And you were with me inside the financial clinic, where I was broadcasting from the teaching room, where we had the teaching room. And I was actually using a smart board, interactive smart board. And that is where we do our teaching inside the financial clinic. It's absolutely so fun. It's an interactive experience. And so how many of you were here to have a taste of that? Did you like it? Did you like it? Thumbs up, hearts? Yes, loved it. Okay, good. Isn't that fun? Come back, because inside the financial clinic, and we're going to open the doors today. We're going to open the doors to enrollment today, officially, to the financial clinic that will start in March. So those of you who really want to begin now and jump in with me to become an ACE money manager, this is your chance tonight. We're going to be opening the doors, opening the enrollment a little bit later. And I have a special guest in the wings, ready to come on. She has already been through the financial clinic in January. She was one of our inaugural clients, students, and inaugural ACE money managers inside the financial clinic. And she's here to let you know what the experience was like for her, and just give you a one-on-one, hands-on feel of what it could be like for you. So you don't have to take my word for it. You can listen to someone else who's actually been through the process, experienced the growth, and I know that she'll give you a chance to ask her questions as well. So that comes later tonight. I'm just so excited. Yeah, hi everybody. There's Anne, thanks for being here. Cecilia, thanks for coming back again. Alyssa, nice to have you. And oh, Rhonda, my friend Rhonda is here. Thank you so much. And Catherine, finally been able to make it. We're so excited to have you here. Irene is here. Irene Beach, we're just, we have a full house coming and I'm just so excited. So tonight, as promised, I'm going to give you a little bit more teaching time on the topic of income. Would that be okay with you? Income, right? Income. So we have had a journey so far to date where we have talked about the mindset of money. We've talked about what it's going to take to create a mindset where you can start right where you are with what you have, right where you are with what you have, and begin to shift that so that you can begin to create a long-term vision for yourself of someone who's going to have a life that you love, so that you can fund all of the dreams that are in your hearts, that you can be an ace money manager. And who wouldn't want that, right? Who wouldn't want that? So yeah, you would love to triple your income. I'm with you. Who else is with Alyssa? She said, I want to triple my income. Who else is in up for that? All right, amen. Yes, yes, yes. We're up for that. So let's just jump right in, because I want to talk a little bit about income, and then I'm going to open the curtains and invite you into enrolling into March, the financial clinic, and see if it's the right fit for you. And then we'll invite my special guest. So with that in mind, I'm in. Yes, Lois, me too. I'm in also. I'm in. Income. Let's talk about income. Income solves so many problems. How many would agree? More income can solve a lot of mistakes, ladies. As a professional money manager for 34 years, I used to have this philosophy that just about any mistake that I made personally on behalf of the client, as it relates to choosing a stock or a bond or an investment for them, could have been made up if I got fresh capital. In other words, fresh capital makes up a lot of past mistakes. Fresh capital always gives you a new chance. Fresh capital gives you a new lease on life. Fresh capital makes it a new starting point. Fresh capital really gives you a level playing field. So when we talk about wanting to be an ace money manager and being able to manage our money really well over time, the one thing we really need to concentrate on is making sure that there's income. Not only enough income, but more than enough income. Not only more than enough income, but the kind of income that will really make up for any past mistakes. Well, let's talk about what some of those past mistakes might be. One of you a couple of nights ago talked about wanting, some advice on debt, how to manage debt. And I just want to let you gals know that it's okay to begin right where you are, even if you happen to be experiencing the condition of debt, which just simply means that you spent somebody else's money and now you still owe them some interest to pay them back, because you spent that money at that time. It was a worthwhile investment for you. It was a worthwhile expenditure. Who knows what it was made for? It doesn't really matter today. But whatever it was worth it enough to you that you felt that you made a decision. And we take 100% responsibility for all the decisions that we make, all 100%. And so you take that responsibility and you say, okay, I'm in debt. What do I do now? Well, first of all, as we talked about yesterday, you do some study. You start right where you are and you lower the interest rates of the debt that you do own. And then step by step, you begin to resolve the debt. In other words, dissolve the debt. How do you dissolve debt? How do you dissolve debt? Anybody know? How do you dissolve debt? Anybody know? in the chat, how do you dissolve debt so it doesn't exist anymore? Pay it off. Income. Income. So income versus outgo. Income. So then that income you can allocate. As money managers, that's our job. We allocate. We just love to allocate, but we have to have something to allocate. We need income to allocate. So we have expenditures. We can allocate it toward those debts to pay them off, like Catherine just said. Pay them off in a timely manner and pretty soon get rid of them so that we are dissolving them. You know, and we talked yesterday about the ebb and flow of life, the life cycles that we all are a part of. And many times we find ourselves in an ebb or a flow in which the condition is called debt. But it doesn't have to be that way your whole life. So it might have seemed like an eternity up till now that you might be in that condition. And all it's going to take to dissolve that is income. Now, earned income is really valuable. That means that you're still working. Earned income is really valuable. That means that you're still working. But at some point, you have those decisions that you need and only you can make to make sure that you have enough income, not only to cover your expenses, but then to dissolve those debts and then to shift your conditions into savings. Those savings, once you're going from debt to savings, that's a miraculous moment in the lives of ACE money managers, ladies. It's a miraculous moment when you go from debt to becoming debt-free. And then every dollar of income goes into savings. So you shift from debt to savings. And from that point forward, you are in the pink. You're in the pink because then your savings investments can begin to shift and create income for you, which we called unearned income. So there's a difference between earned income that you go out and you work hard for your money. You just have to make sure that you're receiving and going out and finding enough income. Now, if there's any one of you who are struggling with that, I am really happy to help you. It's one of the things that I do as a money mentor, to really help women learn how to think more broadly so that they can have a mastermind partner, a partner in believing, that we can figure out how can you find new streams of income, because that income will help you dissolve your current debt. And additional income can then move into your savings. And then future income is really the source of your future investments. And then to learn how to really invest well, oh my gosh, there's nothing more exciting than that. To learn how to invest well so that your income then turns around and other people are paying you. You remember the story I told last night about purchasing Exxon Mobil, the stock, when no one else wanted it, and the stock had come all the way down, and I was able to purchase it at a point in which it was then paying me a dividend income of 8%. 8%. Even if the stock did nothing for the next 20 years, I still would be earning back an income from that stock of 8% to me. That's because I happen to know when to buy, right? What to buy and when to buy. So the skill set of learning what to buy and when to buy will pay off for you over time, because then you can create knowledge on how to create earned income. And it's kind of a trick to go from unearned income on the dividends. I meant to say unearned income, but it's a trick to continue to have enough earned income coming in enough all the time to really give yourself the kind of savings that then you can shift that into investing for your future wealth, and then having that future wealth pay you back. That future wealth can start paying you back, and that's when you begin to have a long-term wealth over time. It's really creating passive income. You're absolutely right, Alyssa, creating passive income. So what I want to do is just share with you a couple of concepts as it relates to when you get into the area of having enough savings so that you become an investor. Having enough savings so that you can become an investor and have that money start paying you back. It's a glorious moment. Here's my theme. Inside every woman is an ace money manager, and that means you. You have more power than you think as a woman. You have more knowledge than you know, and you have a lot more experience that's worth more than you think that you do. And I'm here to prove it. I'm here to empower you. I'm absolutely positive that inside every woman, not just, 1 out of 5, not just the ones who happen to have income. I don't care if you're in debt right now. Inside you is an ace money manager just waiting to be empowered. And I'm here to empower that part of you that really wants to grow. Well, here's a chart on different asset classes as it relates to investments. And this is something that we will be learning inside the financial clinic when we want to learn about how to get your money to earn more money for you, that passive income. On the left-hand side in the blue, you can see the word growth on top. So there are an entire asset class of growth companies that you can invest in that would include United States companies that are listed on the United States stock market, large company stocks, small company stocks underneath that. There are international companies that you can invest in, international developed countries, small stocks, international emerging stocks, going back here. On the second column right here in the pink column, this one is called growth and income. So it's a combination of growth and income. And there's an entire asset class here that includes United States high dividend stocks, international high dividend stocks, and of course, what I just mentioned, ExxonMobil, that I was talking about having that 8% yield, is in this category because it pays not only a dividend of a pretty good amount, but it also has a growth over time. So ExxonMobil in the oil industry would fall into this category of growth plus income. Down in about the middle of this pink column is the United States real estate investment trusts. Well, many of you might be interested in real estate. And most of you might know that income from real estate often comes from rents, right? Whether it's commercial real estate or residential real estate, there are companies that compile real estate holdings together and collect all the rents and pay those rents, a portion of those rents out to investors. And that's called real estate investment trusts, REITs. Extremely profitable as it relates to income sources. There are also international REITs, REITs, as well as master limited partnerships. Each one of these is a specialty. Each one of these, you can live a lifetime and learn about each one of these. It's interesting. In the middle column is called income. That's the teal blue column. And this includes on the very top, investment grade municipal bonds, You may or may not know that municipal bonds are issued by municipalities, government municipalities. That would include your county. That would include your state. Most of them are tax-free, so that when you invest in municipal bonds, you receive tax-free income. Underneath that is United States securitized bonds. Those are bonds that are secured by certain assets. That could include, those assets could include cars, real estate, any kind of assets will secure a bond. Underneath that, United States investment grade corporate bonds. So every corporate bond, every corporate United States company will issue stocks, but also it issues bonds, which means that you become a loaner. You're loaning your money to a corporation and they pay you interest. So that's what a bond is. Underneath that is high yield corporate bonds, which means that they pay you even a higher amount of interest rates for a little bit more risk. Then you also have bank loans, preferred stocks, and international emerging bonds. So these are categories of assets. The fourth category is inflation protection bonds. And I'm going to talk about this in just a little bit more in just a second, but inflation protection bonds are a special category of bonds that can be purchased in such a way that as you are receiving interest from those bonds, they actually shift in time to reflect inflation. In other words, you receive more income over time as inflation goes up. The last column are defensive assets. Those defensive assets, which are really categorized as safe assets. If those of you who are just very risk averse or want to be in a safe place most of the time with your monies, which is fine. You don't have to take risk with your money. You can have what they call defensive assets, which is in the green column. That would include your cash and cash investments like money market funds. It can include United States Treasury bonds. It can include international developed country bonds, as well as in the very bottom, gold and other precious metals, which are considered defensive because they are hedges against inflation. Now, what I'm showing you here really is a 5-column approach to the different asset classes that are available to investors today. You have a lot of learning to do in each one of those asset classes as to which one is going to be right for you. Which one is going to be the most lucrative for you? Which one is going to be a match to your risk reward scenario? How much risk you feel like that you want to take, and how much reward that you really want to have over a period of time. But isn't it wonderful to have 5 different categories of choices over time that gives us as investors lots of possibilities? How would you learn about those possibilities if you didn't have a place that you can come learn about it? This is exciting because this is where we're heading. This is where we're heading into, which is a place where you can come learn safely. You can have a safe place that you can learn about these different asset classes. And in the financial clinic, we begin to break it down for you. What does it mean, each one of these categories? What kind of risk would you be taking if you did put your monies into those categories? What can you expect those categories to give you in return for those investments? And should you take that kind of risk for your money? And this is an exciting time because in different times of the economy, as I was talking about last night, when we're just perhaps on the cusp of recession, just on the cusp of maybe moving into recession. Of course, all over the news today, people are a little bit more fearful because the Federal Reserve is coming out and saying some pretty powerful statements about how they're going to keep interest rates up higher for longer. And of course, that puts panic into the marketplace, and they're thinking, oh my gosh, if interest rates are going to stay up higher for a longer period of time, then that's going to affect investors in such a way that you need to determine what it is that will render your monies a safe income for a longer period of time. So with that said, let me just share a little bit more with you that out of these asset classes, one of the easiest ways to begin is in this fourth column, inflation protection. Inflation protection. Let's assume that we might be right now moving into a longer term inflation period. You know, we haven't had inflation since how many years? How many years has it been since we've actually been in an inflation cycle? You know, the last time that I remember being in an inflation cycle was back in the 1980s. About 4 years after I began as a young stockbroker, I was faced right in the middle of an inflationary spiral. Well, last year we had only 1% in interest rates. Today, it's more like 4% on the 10-year bond, treasury bond. So inflation protection might be something to learn about, especially for those of us who have some capital, who have some savings. And those savings that you want to protect over time against the erosion of inflation, these are two easy income inflation protection ideas. These are your tips. Tonight's tips for easy income include two things. One is I-bonds. Right here, it's called I-bonds. These I-bonds are actually savings certificates that are issued by the United States government. You can buy them, anybody can buy them, and you simply go to this website in red on the top right. It's called treasurydirect.gov. You can learn all about I-bonds, and they happen to be the highest safety place of safety that you can put your savings, and still, because they're backed by the United States government, they have a AAA rating. There is no other AAA rating. Only the government has a AAA rating. Even if you invested in CDs at your local bank, those do not have AAA ratings. Only the government has AAA ratings. So an I-bond, which is really a savings bond issued by the government, right now you can purchase it and it yields 6.89%. 6.89%. And it goes up if inflation continues to go up. That 6.89% is a combination of a real interest rate plus an inflation adjusted rate. So the combination of the nominal rate and the inflation adjusted rate right now is equivalent to 6.89%. And you can go to treasurydirect.gov and you can purchase these kinds of safe, very safe bonds that will pay you so that you can begin to earn this kind of money, this kind of income. Now, the only catch is, and there are a couple of catches you need to be aware of. I want you to do your homework. These actually are based upon 30-year term savings certificates, and there's a minimum 1-year holding requirement. So you wouldn't want to put your money in there if you had need for the money less than 1 year. But if you have a safety account or an emergency savings account right now that you had quite a bit of money stashed away for yourself, you could consider putting a portion of that emergency money, the part that you wouldn't really need for about a year, into something really safe like this and earn 6.89%, which is a heck of a lot more than any other place that you could get at any bank, for example, any banking account, savings account, CD account. So it's pretty good. Now, I'm not in the business of making recommendations. I'm only giving you information so that you can make your own decisions. So by no means am I making any outright recommendations. So this is all in terms of educational information, which I invite you to do your own research. Well, the second category is called tips. So this is your tip for the night: Treasury inflation protection securities. That too you can find more about at treasurydirect.gov. And these securities, these are actually bonds that are backed and issued by the United States government. They are 5-year bonds. You can buy 10-year bonds. You can buy 30-year term bonds. And they are adjusted for inflation. So if our inflation continues to go up over time, the amount of interest rates that is paid to the bondholder, you as the investor over time, you get an incentive because they will pay you higher rates over time to adjust for those inflation rates. And why is that important, ladies? Is because that helps you keep pace, your buying power, your money. It helps you to keep pace with inflation. So those kinds of inflation adjusted investments is a fantastic place for you to begin looking at what kinds of savings do I have now that you might be able to bump up and be an ace money manager to get a higher income level and make your money work smarter for you. Once again, you have most likely you need to make your own decisions. You need to make your own research. And inside the investment financial clinic, we begin to move into learning how to make those decisions, and on what basis do you need to be able to compare those decisions, right to left, left to right, because how else would you know? It's a great place to ask questions. Those of you who've never even known that those exist before, I'm here to answer questions for you inside the financial clinic. And it's a fabulous place to begin with AAA safety, to move out of those times that you have been feeling scared about becoming an investor, and moving with a certainty into a place where you can at least have quality income coming into you relatively, so that you can earn money on your hard-earned money. So that is really, in a nutshell, what I wanted to cover tonight is how can you right now, just as we might be moving into recession, really take care of yourself, be smart, stay safe, keep your savings safe, but move it into something that is going to give you a higher interest rate and protect your purchasing power over time from the ravages of potentially longer inflation than we have been used to for quite some time. Now, there only one other point that I wanted to make is that in the business of finance, there's something called risk. And how does one learn about what kinds of risk is appropriate for you? That is really, really a very important question for each and every one of us, and it's an individual question. But every person has to make that decision themselves. So that's why, like I was talking about last night, in order to not take too much risk, you want to stay with the companies that have quality, quality, quality. Now, here's an example of a portfolio. For those of you who have investment portfolios that you want to make your investment portfolios pay a higher income to you. Here is an example. And once again, this is created by Value Line. As I mentioned last night, Value Line is an amazing resource to investors. Value Line actually is a place where you can filter all kinds of information about companies and create your own portfolios. In this case, this is a portfolio of high quality, above average companies that are paying high dividend yields. And what I want to do, I just want to point out that in this case, right here in the middle, where it says current dividend yields, when you go down this list here, you can see that this list, has like all of these numbers here, starting with 3.2%. This is the dividend income. This right here is a dividend income list. Notice right before that, it says financial strength, A, B plus, A plus, A plus. You see that? A plus plus, like we were talking last night, the financial strength of all these companies. The column right before that, and I'm looking right in the middle of this, safety rank. All of these companies, here's a safety rank 2, 3, 2, 1, 1, 1. Remember I told you that quality companies that we invest in as professional money managers, we want the safety ranking to be 1, 2, or 3, the financial strength to be B plus plus or higher. This is a portfolio that qualifies in those two areas. Plus, in the third area, this is portfolio that yields to you a very high rate of dividends. So this is an example of how you can create a portfolio of the highest quality companies, financially strong companies that are financially strong in safety and financial strength, and that have high dividends. This is the kind of thing that I have done professionally all my life, and it's also the kind of thing that I just love to teach. One of the things that also I want to mention as it relates to taking risk is that there are pitfalls. There are pitfalls in the markets. And part of the promise that I have in the financial wellness of our financial clinic is to help you as ACE money managers be far more aware of what some of the financial pitfalls are out there, so that you can be careful and vigilant. There are disruptions out there in the markets, and as we all know, there are scandals, and there are disreputable, fraudulent people. As a matter of fact, many of you probably have heard about Bernie Madoff, who is now in jail. Actually, I think, this is one of the biggest defraud in the United States over the last 20 years. Many of you may know people who lost fortunes by putting their money with Bernie Madoff. He defrauded millions and millions of investors. Most recently, a woman, Elizabeth Holmes, was sentenced to 11 years in prison for her involvement with a fraudulent company in the pharmaceutical industry. And just recently, we've had these cryptocurrency frauds coming into the picture, including FTX. And recently, the SEC has indicted 10 internet influencers. So be careful, beware of who you listen to. These influencers have been indicted for pump and dump schemes, which means that they get people involved in false promises. And then once you put your money with them, they basically abscond with the money and go elsewhere. So you need to be aware of people who are promising the moon, especially those places that promise how much money that you can make with day trading and swing trading systems, and all of these decades old scam machines are what I, as an investment professional, want to help women especially guard against. It's one thing to have a lot of knowledge in what to do with your money. It's another thing to make sure that you have knowledge on what not to do with your money. So with that, having just given you a little bit of overview of some of the additional information that you will have privilege to be part of when you feel that you're ready for something like a financial clinic. Let me just now tell you a little bit about the financial clinic itself, okay? Because today, I'm opening the enrollment. I'm opening the doors. And by the way, there's a little, question here, Alyssa, what would be the minimum of tips and so forth? Let me answer that a little bit later, and I'll be happy to private message you those individual questions, because those are really great questions. And I can go into that tomorrow if you want to come back, because tomorrow we're going to have Q&A. We're going to have questions and answers. You can ask me any question that you want, and that'll be the first question that I answer tomorrow, Alyssa. And in addition, I'll be happy to give you additional information privately in a direct message. So save your questions for tomorrow for any kind of investment questions, because tomorrow is all about Q&A. But today we're opening the enrollment for the financial clinic for March. Now I'm doing this in 1 month increments. So the enrollment for the March clinic will start in March, and it's just for 1 month. It's just for 1 month. Why? Because I deliver a lot of content, and I want you to learn a lot and then go apply it to your life. And then we can come back, and if you wish, for the next series of financial clinic, we open again in the following after 2 months. So March, we take a break in April, we come back in May. So I'm doing this every other month in the year 2023. We get started in March. You have 1 month of amazing learning, as well as interaction with where you are right now with what you've got, and everyone's different. I get it. We're going to go with exactly where you are with what your particular financial situation is, your financial condition. And we're going to move you into a place of empowerment in 1 month. So what is the financial clinic all about? Let me give you, with your permission, a little bit of information on exactly what it's all about. Now, you are invited to go to my website, lynnekitchen.com, at any time, and you can review what I'm going to be talking about here. And all you need to do is go to this tab on the right called Services, right here where I have my tab, Services. And you have a drop down menu. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, because we start with phase 1. We have phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4. So phase 1 of the financial clinic is all about beginning. It's an introduction to the basics of financial planning for yourself. So inside phase 1, this is where we learn about the basic introduction of, I would say, your money, where you are now, how to learn about value creation over time, what kind of metrics that you need to learn about so that you can create and make goals for yourself and plan to have wealth for the rest of your life. The structure of this is that in 1 month, I am promising you 3 classes plus 1 private session with me. So the way that works is that the first class begins the first full week of March. So that would be the first Monday of March. And I think that is March 6th, if I'm not mistaken. And that for the beginners, We'll begin each Monday evening. I'm making this available in the evening at 8 p.m. Eastern for 75 minutes for 3 consecutive Mondays. And we will go over the basic beginnings right exactly to help you navigate the beginning area of exactly planning for your future. And then in the fourth, so we have 3 classes. And then on the 4th week, you meet with me for a private one-on-one calibration so that I can actually meet with you on helping you with your own particular circumstance. Now, in the beginning classes, what I want to say is that I provide for each of you a financial roadmap. This is something that I used to use as a professional money manager. And this roadmap is an amazing tool that we begin with to help you right where you are to learn exactly where you are starting from and how you can plan to move forward with a wealth building financial roadmap. And I believe that I'm on the right track because guess what? This week, I think it was just yesterday, in the Wall Street Journal, there was an article that came out that talked about living to be 100 years old and you need a financial roadmap. I thought that was so cool because guess what? We were just honoring my own mother who is almost 100 herself. And here it is, the financial Wall Street Journal has this entire big section of how to have a financial roadmap so that you can live to be 100. And the subtitle is People Are Living Longer, How to Make Retirement Savings Last, Handle Your Healthcare Costs, and Live a Life to the Fullest. And that's exactly why I am providing inside the financial clinic for the beginners to begin. And we begin with a financial roadmap. And it's absolutely a exquisite way that I actually help you begin. It doesn't matter whether you are beginning in debt, out of debt, lots of savings. If you already have a robust account, if you already have an investment advisor who is helping you with your investments, that's fine. For everybody, wherever you are along the way, if you want to begin to really have clarity and have a plan to become 100 with wealth, then this is a place for you, the financial clinic, and that's where we begin. Now, I just want to let you know that as soon as you enroll in the financial clinic, you get a complimentary free phone call with me, and I'm going to help you decide and discern if that's where you should be beginning at the beginning. But if you have had quite a bit of investment experience in your life, then I invite you to consider becoming inside the financial clinic at the intermediate level. And so let me just go to the intermediate level here. It's called Beyond the Basics. For those of you who have a little bit more sophistication and understanding of the basic markets, and you feel like you are ready, you'll have an investment, you'll have a one-on-one private conversation with me, and you will then begin. We will decide together. You can begin then in the intermediate section. And in that phase, we are diving a little bit deeper into decision-making skills. We cover asset allocation. We do an industry overview. I help you with an introduction to charting and basic portfolio construction, and then also the concept of futurizing your wealth, which is one of the most interesting topics for the intermediate level folks. Once again, this is a 1-month program. We meet, the intermediate folks will be meeting on the first Tuesday of March, which is March 7th. Tuesday, March 7th at 8 p.m. Eastern. And once again, these for the first 3 classes. They are 75 minutes long. And at the end, you get a one-on-one calibration consultation with me, where you will have me looking over your shoulder at exactly where you are in your portfolio building. And that is extremely important for you to get some feedback so that you figure out whether you're on the right track. Then there are those who have a lot more advanced investment experience. And so there's a level called advanced wealth creation. Now, we have several students who've already been through the beginning and the intermediate phase, and they are ready for March to move into the advanced wealth creation course. And so they will be meeting on Wednesdays. And their first meeting will be Wednesday, March 8th at 8:00 p.m. again. And in the advanced group, they will begin learning advanced money management principles, including industry analysis, portfolio construction, deeper dive into charting and a balancing of your assets, and then a projection of future wealth creation. And once again, it's a 1-month course structured like a 3+1 structure. That means 3 weeks of live courses with me, classes with me, 75 minutes each class. And then the fourth is a one-on-one calibration consultation with me. Now, those of you who feel like you don't really want a 1-month class course, but you wish to work with me, I invite you as a advanced financial clinic, platinum level. And in this case, I am opening the doors and enrolling anybody who's interested in a private consultation opportunity to work with me one-on-one to help build your wealth. That doesn't mean that you couldn't take the classes as well as working with me one-on-one, but there are those of you who don't want the classes, but you just want some help. You want to have me help you as a financial mentor to review your portfolio, perhaps do some projections and analysis and consultations for creating wealth over time for you, and perhaps some ongoing mentorship consultation. So that is available, and that is done on a consultancy basis, and you're certainly welcome to an initial complimentary consultation so that we can really establish the scope and the depth of what it is that you desire to accomplish over time. So this is something that you can actually find more about inside my website, lynnekitchen.com. But what I want to do now is, those of you who absolutely say, yes, I'm in, all you need to do is make a decision to say yes. I then will get on the phone with you. We'll determine together which level is going to be exactly the right fit. Those of you who've been through this before, we went through this discussion. Would beginning phase really be exactly the right fit for you? Would it be intermediate? Would it be the advanced? And I'm wanting to make sure that I am exactly going to fit you right where you are, because everybody comes with different backgrounds and experiences. And it's so exciting to be able to support you right where you are. And then you get to join a very small, intimate group of ladies who are like-minded and really, really excited about creating wealth over the long run and at the same level as you. So you won't be, thrown into a situation where you're going to be over your head, or a situation where you're bored because people are not caught up with where you are. We're going to be having 3 different levels, and it's just so fun to be able to offer everyone 3 different opportunities to enter exactly where it is that fits you the most. Now, All you have to do is make a decision. And when you do that, let's go back to the website, and under Financial Clinic, this tab right here, Financial Clinic, it's simply in the enrollment form, it says Money Talks for Women, MTFW, enrollment right here. Click right there, and it takes you to the enrollment page. And here is the enrollment page where you can sign up. It says add to the cart right here. You can sign up and add to the cart. Now, most people for this kind of quality teaching probably will charge something in the order of $800, $1,000, $1,200 for the expertise and the amount of information that I actually spend to share with you. But in this case, the investment is $479, and that is a one price for everyone, for whether it's the beginners, the intermediate, or the advanced. So it's only one price, $479 for each one of you. And all you have to do is click here, add to the cart. And when you do that, it will say view cart, and you go to view the cart, and that is where you will place for one person, you'll be placing your order right there. So I invite you. Enrollment is open for the month of March, and we are just excited to right now feature somebody that I know is waiting in the wings, wanting to share her experience, hope, and expertise with you, so that we can have an opportunity to hear what it's actually like to be a participant inside the Financial Clinic. Is everybody okay with that? Are you all excited about that? Would that be fun to listen to someone who's actually been here and done it? Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, good, good. Well, I would like to introduce to you a very, very wonderful friend of mine. Her name is Patricia Barnett. She jumped in as a beginning student inside the Financial Clinic. She is a professional life coach specializing in success and acceleration of results. She has been a wonderful inspiration to me over many years. I've known her many years, but I have never seen her grow as fast as I have seen her grow in the last short period of time. And that's not just because of the Financial Clinic, but so much more. May I introduce to you my wonderful friend, Patricia Barnett. Patricia, let me ask you to come on in. Can you, let's see, all I have to do is bring you on in. Patricia, hi, Patricia. Thanks for joining us.
We did it. We did it. We did it. Oh my goodness. I am so happy to be here with you and with all of the ladies and those who are here live and those who will be watching the replay. It is such a joy to be here, and I have been with you this evening to hear and to be with you again. And I am chomping at the bit to share, because there is much that I am being called and led to share with the ladies this evening.
Well, that is wonderful. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here, because I think it's really good to just give people a bird's eye view of what it's like from the perspective of a student who's gone through and you came through the beginning level. So for those people who really are considering what that's going to feel like, and you started with this financial roadmap from the very beginning. Would you like to comment on what it was like, maybe what it was like for you before why you even joined the Financial Clinic, and then once you started working with the financial roadmap, what it was like for you?
Oh, I love it. Do you know, again, so much to share, and I'll do my very best to keep it very focused here.
We have time. We're good.
Okay. So the idea, it was really divine timing. I had been considering, and I saw in the chat this idea of income, expanding income, expanding income. And this idea has always been interesting to me because there was always a necessity for me to maybe even work harder to have more income. And even though, and I saw in the chat, someone speaking about passive income, creating passive income, but even then, how could we create more? And what was very interesting to me is just before you launched this last round that I was able to jump into, this idea of, wait a minute, I know that I don't have to work for the money can work for me. And so I was getting really interested in elevating that idea. And I love how you introduced, I'm very dedicated to elevating, always going to the next level in every area of my life. It's what I teach, and I walk the talk, I walk the walk. And so this idea of money and how could I change how I was looking at it? How could I reframe? How could I expand? How could I elevate? And then you offered this opportunity to be inside of a 5-day, very like what we're inside of right now. And it was inside of this, and Lynn, we've known each other for a very long time. And this idea that to be with you in your wheelhouse, we've created projects together, we've done a lot together. And to be with you and hear you teach, as you said, something you're so passionate about. And when I recognize, and when I know you personally, but to know the value of what you bring to the table. Ladies, it's like having a vault, like your very own vault, and you have the key, you have the combination to open up the vault. And inside of that vault is decades worth of experience, decades worth of insight, decades worth of almost like a sixth sense. It's within cells, it's within Lynn's DNA. It's like at a cellular level. And as I was listening to you tonight, Lynn, you reminded me that there's like a whole nother language that you speak, a whole nother world to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And if I had to do this on my own, first of all, it would never happen because I would not be able to invest on my own all that you have to know what you know. And so imagine we have a vault. We don't need to even know the language and speak the language. We have a vault that we can go into where the language is known, called Lynn.
Oh,
Experience and expertise. So it's like having a genie in a bottle, right? And so Lynn, that's what caught my attention when you opened up the doors to a 5-day with you. And then to really recognize what I was just speaking about, for me to know and to glean and to gain and to have and to hold what you hold, it would not happen. But to have access to that, to have access to the vault, now that is priceless. And so jumping into this idea that I want to learn from a master, you are a master. And I am at the feet of the master to learn from the master and to know that the master's got me. So if we even look at the analogy, if I'm wanting to climb up a mountain and get to the top of a mountain, or at least get halfway up the mountain, or at least get a little bit further up the mountain, I would want to go with someone who has been that way, who has climbed before me, who has known the journey. And Lynn has been, again, through decades of journeys of ups and downs and all arounds. And so I would want to have someone with me, go with me, show me the way. And probably, and you mentioned this, Lynn, in our lifetimes, we're stepping into one of the wildest terrains that we've seen already in decades. So as we step into this very wild terrain that we're about ready to embark on, what would it be worth to have someone lead the way? And for me, it's priceless.
Well, thank you.
So, yes, it really
Yeah.
is. It really is.
I really want, thank you for saying that, because there is a, there's always the value of having a leader on a journey. But could you speak a little bit to the fact that, like, I think like a lot of ladies feel like they don't know enough, or was there a point in time when you joined the financial clinic that you started to feel ownership that you too could become an ACE money manager?
Yes, perfect, Lynn. So the idea that this is customizable, you're customizing this for each one of us and meeting us where we are. And even knowing that, there was this hesitancy that, oh my goodness, would I be able to do this, right? And within the group of women that I was in, what I knew is that I would learn from you, I would be educated, I would be taught from you, you would be able to teach me in a way that I would know, and it would be in a safe space, a safe place in which I could step into, and even if I fell down, knowing I would be picked back up. But here's what happened in the very first session. The first session is worth the price of admission. It's beyond. The first session, transformational. And in the first session, because I was open, because I'm interested in the first session, it literally was a game changer for me. And where I knew over a period of time, I would be able to learn, I would be able to grow. When you mentioned in such a short period of time, I expanded like you've never seen. That was my experience. In 3 weeks, when I say game changer, it was a life changer. So where I knew I would get the education, insights, valuable information, the thing I never expected was the life-changing transformation in such a short period of time, which came from the information. But even in addition to that, the group of women, because you create this space and place for growth, that allowed this to happen. And it is one of the most magical experiences. And when I think about it, you're not creating like this, sacred ritual spa retreat that I've been to for us to elevate in all these levels. This is a financial clinic, but here's what happens inside of a financial clinic. And here's what happens inside of that. It's like the doctor gets to the root of the problem. You don't just get treated here, you get healed here. At least I did. So this is just the beginning. And in a very short period of time, to your question, I immediately was able to see from your exercise, from your roadmap, that this was possible. And not only is it possible, by working with Lynn and having that valuable conversation that you offer at the end, which again would be worth the price of admission, beyond, we were able to move some furniture around, so to speak, just move some things around that made all the difference in my results, literally. So this idea, I thought it was going to be a lot longer, years and years and years before I would be at a place in a space where I would feel how I feel right now. And it was a matter of 3 weeks. And by the end of that 4th week, it was like the cherry on top of, yes, now let's go to the intermediate. So now I'm jumping into intermediate.
You're ready for the intermediate, right?
Intermediate. So this is a game changer. It's a life changer. It's transformational. And I'm aware, I don't want to overpromise and make it sound so good that this is going to change your life. I will just simply say it changed mine. And I never expected in a million years to have that type of change in such a short period of time, to be able to step into and literally use this new way of thinking, new way of seeing, new way of believing, and knowing that I'm with someone that I trust with my life on this journey.
Thank you so much, Patricia. What about the structure itself? Did you feel like it was a good pacing? You know, we did a lot of work in just 3 weeks plus then the one-on-one. Did you feel like that was a good amount. Just, everyone's very busy. And did you feel like you were able to focus and grow?
Amazingly so. It's again, it's an anomaly. It's a phenomenon. It's when you're inside of it, how far we go in such a short period of time. Logically in our brains, it doesn't really compute that that could be possible. But in a short period of time, every week, and then to have the expansive growth, it is something I've never experienced before. And I've been in a lot of programs. I teach a lot of programs. I love growing, and I've not ever experienced this as a participant, the way in which I was able to experience this. So
Was
this
there-
idea that I am very busy, but this was something that I could get into without it taking over or taking me out of all of the other things that I do in my life. I use 24 hours, 7 days a week. I already use that time, and sometimes even more. And in an interesting way, this was able to come into my life and actually help me expand time. And the way in which it is presented, time flies when you're having fun. And it is so fun, because this is what Lynn creates for us, is to have fun, expand, enjoy, and to create real results in real time.
Wow, that is just so great, Patricia. What was there any particular aha that came as a result of being in the beginning? And you were one of the my inaugural students, so you were like first to experience all this. And I know that we went through, once again, this financial roadmap has a lot of specificity to it, to learn how to create particular goals, money goals for yourself, and what I call milestones in the future. And you're working with yourself to really learn where you are right now and where you want to be in the future, so that you can have your dreams come true. Were there any aha moments where you really saw a vision that, yes, I can be the financial person that I want to be?
Yeah. Lynn, the way that you teach it, the way you lay it out, the way that it is all put together is in a way where it allows us to see with new eyes what's possible. I've had dreams, I've had ideas. I do believe that I can create. And yet the way in which you teach it, the way in which this is laid out, and the way in which the map works, not only do I see it now, I see it in such a way that it's just like bing, bing, bing. Okay, it's done. And there's work to do. So again, I'm aware there's work to do. There are lessons to learn. There is investments to make. And yet it is done in such a way that it is so doable. And again, in 3 weeks, we made some changes that changed everything. The value, the worthiness that I am, that I no longer will put my future in anybody else's hands. And now my future is right here, which at a level I thought I knew, and I did at a level, but now this is at a totally different level, in which now I know that my future is in great hands.
Thank you, Patricia.
I am in the hands of you.
Well, thank you. I think it's safe to say that I think the gap is that for too long we've given away our power, or have become dependent on somebody else's expertise. And help you see your own power, and to empower you as a woman. Patricia, how has that take control of your wealth and create, because it's all up to you.
Yeah. You know, and for a long time, create as a result in my life. And this idea that where I thought, you know, I thought I was there and I was here, I was wherever I was, I was wherever I was. But behind the curtain and see, oh, but there were a couple of things, and there have been a couple of things and areas, especially as it relates to that financial freedom piece. What's the word? Governed by beliefs, ideas, also had my ability and capability in the hands of others, beliefs, messages, or things that, and opening all that I am here to move past and move beyond, which then ultimately and inevitably is like up against. And that was revealed, and now that ceiling is now off and
So
and away,
now that
up
so
and away.
now that you really feel now into the intermediate class, what kind of expectations do you have now? What kind of desires do you feel like that you'll be able to
Seeing crystal clear the pathway to that financial freedom, and now creating it, now generating it, now having it become around, just moving some things around changed a great deal already in my life. So there wasn't anything new that had to happen. By just moving, sky's the limit, continuing on the pathway to greater investing opportunity, to greater income opportunity, to what could possibly be revealed from here. Because
Yes,
I know that we've only scratched the surface.
you, Patricia, for saying yes to the financial clinic, for saying yes to yourself, for saying yes to your own empowerment, for saying yes to your future wealth, because like for you, I know it's been wonderful. Is there any questions that you have for Patricia real quickly, and then we'll close if there's any questions in as it relates to having been in the financial clinic. Anybody? Just give you a quick second and love your beautiful share. Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you. That just didn't come to you at the moment. Feel free to email me at hello@lynnekitchen.com, and I'll be happy to get back to you with answers. I see a couple of questions here. Patricia, we just want to say, oh, and from beginner to winner. I like that, from beginner to winner.
And
Thank
then, and
you so
lastly,
much.
Lynn, I would just share that this is about community. It is about community, and where you offered such an incredible and the community offers that clarity between what you offer and what the community provides. It's that clarity. And
Yes,
that
you
is
are,
what is
Patricia Barnett.
available for every lady here. So I say, I look forward to seeing you wherever we shall be together, to the ladies that are here live and those who are watching the replay. And may our journeys cross again, and may it be very soon. And for now, congratulations, Lynn. Congratulations to all of the ladies here. And for those of you who have said yes, and for those of you that are still considering, I know you've gotten incredible, incredible benefit even by being here this week. And congratulations, because where we stand, it's a new beginning, it's a new dawn, it's a new day, and we stand here. And I celebrate each and every one of you, because this is our opportunity for a new life. So with that, thank you, Lynn, for allowing me to be here and to share.
Thank you, Patricia. Let's give Patricia some love, everyone. Thank you so much, Patricia. It's just been such a rewarding time and magnificent. Thank you, Patricia. Well, everyone, I do want to say thank you for being here this evening. Once again, I invite you to go to lynnekitchen.com and enroll. Enrollment is open. Tomorrow night, we're going to have another session for a Q&A, but it'll be at a slightly different hour. Since it's Friday, we're going to have the wrap up at 5 p.m. Eastern. That would be 2 p.m. Pacific. And I invite you back for a final session in which I'm be entertaining all kinds of questions. I'll give you the best answers that I can on any topic at all, and especially as it relates to the financial clinic and what it is that you want to know more about. And if there's anything that I can do in the meantime, just email me at hello@lynnekitchen.com, and I'll be happy to answer back. Once again, we are opening the doors for enrollment for March. It's a 1-month program where you receive 3 live classes with me, plus a one-on-one consultation at 3 different levels. And the moment that you sign up, you'll get me a consultation by phone with me to make sure that we have you in exactly the right level, whether it's beginning, intermediate, or advanced. And we'll have an awful lot of fun figuring that out and making sure that you get started right in the right place. Once again, this is Lynn Kitchen signing off for day 4 of 5 days to your financial freedom. Join me one more day and we will really put a cherry on top. Join me at 5 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. That's Friday. And I shall see you then. Thank you all for attending. Thank you for being here. Really enjoyed tonight. And so have a beautiful rest of your evening. Bye for now.